Hi guys, and welcome to Magic and Myth and History, Episode 3. This is the Temple of Olympia Zeus. It is in Athens. I didn't get to go to it, but I did go to the Temple of Dodona and visit his temple there. We are also going to honor not only Zeus, but an Egyptian goddess. See if you can guess who she is. I'll give you a side depiction there. If you guessed Isis, you're wrong. Now, Isis does have beautiful wings like this goddess, but this is the Egyptian goddess Mat, and she is the goddess of truth. When you go for judgment and Anubis puts your heart on his scale, it is her feather that your heart is weighed across to see if you were a good person or not. We're going to jump right into kind of where we left off on how people view gods and goddesses by answering the question of how are they going to come to you? How are they depicted? And I have a story for this that I am not going to tell you how many years ago this was, but it was many years ago, and I don't want to feel too old. So I was on this magical community, and let's call her Jen, was asking about how the goddess Aphrodite looked, how was she depicted. She had come to her in a dream, or at least she was thinking so, and I was telling her, because I had worked with Aphrodite, how she comes through for me and what she is traditionally depicted as. Because in ancient Greece, she usually had long blonde hair and white or pale skin. And the reason that she came with pale skin and blonde hair is because women of wealthy stature were not outside working jobs in the sun, so the pale skin was an indication of wealth. And then blonde hair was rarer in the Mediterranean, so that was, I don't want to say a standard of beauty, but a lot of people would depict Aphrodite that way because they'd see it and go, oh wow, that's so beautiful, that's so unique. It doesn't mean if you have brown hair and brown eyes you're not beautiful. It's just was a commonality for a standard of beauty, not the standard of beauty. So anyway, I'm talking to Jen about this, and then let's call him Ben comes in and he goes, you're wrong, she got brown hair, brown eyes, da, 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 da. And I was like very upset about this. Like, I mean, I was young and it hurt my feelings. Not only did he dismiss my depiction and my connection with my deity, but text from ancient times about this deity. So Ben's not wrong, but Ben was kind of a jerk whether he meant to be or not. And I will just say that some of us go a month and they got to change their hair color. They can't be blonde anymore. They have to have green hair or whatever. And I'm sure some of you have dyed your hair or thought about it, or changed your nails, or got different colored contacts, did your hair a different way. So why would you not expect your deities to do that? That I don't really get. So he, whichever god or goddess you're trying to connect to, may come to you in different forms. But when we're talking about this, I want you to think about your Hollywoodized version of a demon or a negative entity. They come to scare you, right? So if you're afraid of clowns, they're going to use that against you. So why would the goddess of love and beauty not come to you in a form that's most beautiful to you? And you're going to see that with your version of like Anubis is linked to quartz. How he would come to you. You might see him dressed as a lawyer, and okay, I don't, but you know, it's just going to be your depiction and how he's going to resonate with you through your ideals. So that's how they're going to come to you. It's a little vague because now some of you are going, that didn't really answer my question because I don't know if he's coming with brown hair, blue eyes, blah, 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 blah. Just take a step back, breathe, and follow your intuition. Okay? So we talked about how for Jen, in this example, her god or goddess came through in a dream. Well, you can also do that with meditation. You can sit down and have intent to meditate with a deity, or you can open the floor for multiple to come in. But when you're starting off, I kind of recommend you to start with 1 or 2 so you can kind of get a differential between their energies. You don't want to always be messing up Bast and Artemis. Okay? So they like it when you know which one's coming. I can't stress that out enough. Now you can do this through your ancestry. If you're Korean or Chinese or Latvian or South American, Nordic, there's all pantheons that your ancestors may have worshipped. And not only by opening up that gate and exploring there, may you find you're getting closer to some of your ancestors, but you may find that they worship that deity, and their deity may come through and be like, hey, I worked with your great-great-grandma and she was awesome, so I'm excited that somebody else in her family is now wanting to connect. And they may help you actually connect to your ancestors if you're having problems there. You can go through, and this is a bit of a past life thing, if there's a country you absolutely love or absolutely hate, chances are you have had a past life there. Okay? So it's a good indicator, and that would involve exploring. Now, just because you had a past life in a certain area that you don't necessarily like or never want to visit, doesn't mean that there's not a loving God that supports there. It means that you had a bad time there, and part of your soul may still be dealing with that trauma. So it may be nice to work with a God from that pantheon who can help you relieve that and get that out of your system. Just be open-minded. If you hate a particular country, like country banana, and a Bananian God comes to you. And I'm using that because I don't want to say this country or that country, because I don't want to offend anybody out there. Because just because somebody comes from a country that you don't like doesn't mean they're a jerk. Like, there's some really great people I know from countries that when I had a past life, we were in war together, and sometimes their people did not do nice things to me. My people did not do nice things to them. So, don't judge a person from a country that you had a past life with and it was nasty back then. Just know, like, that is something that you should not do. I can't tell you what to do, but I don't recommend it. I always recommending coming from love. But moving on, another great way to find a deity may be if you have a hobby or a career choice. And you may want to be a nurse or a doctor, and there's Apollo, who's a healer. There's a lot of healing gods that are out there. You may love archery, in which case Apollo, Gwenup Neve, Hachiman, Artemis, or Diana all carry a bow. They all use bows. There's so many examples I can give with careers. I mean, if you like to study and research, you could do Thoth, Athena. If you are in the military, Ares, Tyr. A lot of Norse gods may be for you if you're in the military. There's so many ways to find that. If you want to be a lawyer, or you have hobbies in social justice, fighting for rights, pushing forward, well, Apollo, Anubis, told you we bring her back up, Matt, Tyr from the Norse pantheon. There's so many options for you, okay? Just, you gotta do a little exploring. Now, there are ways to connect through signs and symbols. You may find yourself drawn to an ankh, or if you're flipping through a book and you find this weird symbol, you may be drawn back to what kind of culture this is, and what that symbol means can be like, oh, okay, well, it's a Mayan god, so I'm going to look up the Mayan god of strength, because that's what that symbol meant. Stuff like that. So Another way is if you are very drawn to animals. I tend to be drawn to wolves, jackals, foxes. I love canines. I love hippopotamuses and crocodiles. You will find, especially for like crocodiles, I mean, the Sebek is a headed anthropomorphic crocodile, like, you know, so you can find deities that way. You may find that a bunny is in your yard every morning, Aphrodite, or in some ways Dionysus, but we'll talk about that later. He's more the leopard. I said leopard. That's how I remember how to spell leopard. Or like, you know, Bast is a house cat, but originally she was depicted as a lioness. So there's other ways to find it, guys. Then there's also colors, planets, numbers, and I plan to go into that eventually on other videos. A lot of people may already be familiar with angel numbers, or we're going to take that back some and link some of those numbers to other pantheons and other deities. Some of this information is hard to find, so you got to cut me a little bit of a break. But I am very excited to do that. And then here's the thing, guys. The best way for me to learn and connect to my gods or goddesses has always been the research, which is kind of why I started this. I love talking about the myths. I love talking about the gods and goddesses. And you're going to see some of them evolve through the myths we talk about and what their modern day representation is. And you're going to hopefully find some connections this way. And I am honored to have that as part of my my purpose. So hopefully this channel, once we start diving into the myths and we get all this introductory stuff out of the way, is going to be very helpful for you. And I'm also going to put this out there, and we're probably going to intro with this next time. There are some gods and goddesses you would not think you would end up working with. And my beautiful friend Sam, who just sent me this beautiful turtle from Hawaii, is going to laugh at me. She's going to pick on me. She's going to joke with me. Because this deity that I'm going to begin to talk about is a big troll. I'm going to put it that way. And I'm going to get trolled and trolled forever and ever. There's no living down what I'm about to say. So, the Patreon of all my Patreons, my main man is Apollo. He is the god. He is the personification of truth. I can already feel the trolling begin. I can feel that energy coming right in, that smirk. For a long time, this god has been in and out of my life, and I didn't realize what he was doing in the beginning because I was blocking him. I work with a deity named Loki, who's from the Norse pantheon, and you may see me stop and make a face for a second, here or there, or every 2 seconds, whatever, because I can feel this is just tickling his fancy. Apollo is the personification of truth. Loki is the father of lies. You see how that doesn't resonate? And he's very helpful. We have a great banter going on. He's come in through different signs and symbols to help me understand when someone is not good for me. And I didn't get what he was doing for a while. And I had this, I like to troll. I troll Sam, which is why she's getting a kick out of this. I troll Sparta. I troll my friends. I like playing little jokes and pranks. I love fairies. Okay? So, I have some of Loki's nature in me, okay? But in his myths, they're kind of end of the world chaos, which I don't resonate very well with. So in order to work with Loki, we kind of had to compromise a little. We had to have a talk about, yeah, okay, I want to work with you, but I can't handle super chaos. But Loki is always pushing me and pushing me forward into things that are not as comfortable for me. He helps me get out of my shell. I do love him, and we banter. Oh my god, is this gonna say sorry, I had to mumble there for a second. The point being is, I would have never thought I would have worked with Loki, but I do love Loki. I said it. Are you happy? Are you yeah, okay. Can I finish what I'm doing now? Okay. Be open, guys, because you never know who's gonna bring you that joy or what you need. That's the point of me saying that. I'm sorry I'm getting all choked up here. There's a lot of downloads going on. I'm gonna have to end this because this I will say though, this is how I'm gonna end this. Your relationships with deities, and I've touched on this before, are all gonna be different. We're gonna be talking about some of the different types of relationships you may encounter with deities. Some of them may be very business with you, and be BFF with your friend. It's what you need. It's not always about what you want, it's about what you need. And that being said, I will tell you my relationship with Loki. I will argue with him. I will push a little back against him, and I've even cursed, which some of you are going, you cursed at a god. It's all about relationships. Trust me, you're going to find out what's okay and what works with you. I never disrespect him, and he gets a chuckle about when I curse. I go, dang it! Only not with those words. He thinks it's funny. I love you guys. I am going to put some links down below, so if you feel like sending in a love donation, that'll help me hopefully eventually just be able to do this full-time versus one of my jobs, which I am grateful for because it's allowing me to have things like the internet, who I also attribute to messenger gods like Hermes, but it's allowing me to connect to you. So I'm very grateful for my job, but I'd rather be doing this full time. So I thank you for tuning in, and I thank you for your support. I am going to say, if you are interested in past lives and you are in the Tampa Bay area, there are different hypnotherapists that you can go to. But if you're in the Tampa Bay, Lutz area, you might want to look up August Gonzalez, because he is amazing. He's taught me a lot. Now he does a very different type of past life regression, and it's more physical, but he does have group workshops where it's not as physical. His is deep memory process. It's very healing, but you can get your healing in a not as physical way. There's two very different, distinct past life regressions. But I am going to tell you that he's wonderful. I'll drop a link down below when I am able to, so probably sometime this evening, if not tomorrow morning. And if I can, I'll get his website or his Facebook page for you. And if you're in the area, stop by, do one of his group sessions, or if you're ready for the physical traumatic stuff, go into that deep memory process reading, because it's intense, but man, I wouldn't be here without it. Like, I would never be doing this without that healing. So I I haven't been able to go to any of his lately, and it was weird because I was going to his psychic development circle every week, and then all of a sudden, my path took me on a left turn and I haven't been back. And I enjoy, you know, watching him on Facebook, seeing the things that he's doing, and I'm like, I want to go back, but I keep getting, it's not time right now. But if I can help him get a client or two eventually when this video gets out there, then that's my way of giving a little bit back of what he's given me. So anyway, I love you guys. I gotta go. I have a convention to be at. It's now almost 7 o'clock in the morning, and I gotta cut Sparta's wig. Okay, I love you guys.